All right, hello and welcome back. So this is going to be round 3 in our weighted remote cup for Toxic Cup. I'm really hoping that I can just sweep this cup, go 4-0, and get a big boost in my ranking or whatever, but it doesn't really matter to me. And so for these games in particular, for the weighted cup games, I'm actually going to be spending a little more time on the pregame analysis, going over some of the matchups. So, and the first couple of videos I did the same thing. So, here it's pretty interesting. Initially, when I look at this, I actually see Heracross as being very strong. So Heracross, I think, beats Meganium, ties the mirror, beats Munchlax, beats Steelix, and so really good. Also, close combat really threatens Wormadam. So if I can farm down any of those, that close combat at Wormadam kind of needs to be shielded. It's like kind of a ridiculous amount of damage. So that's really good. Shiftry, I honestly don't know if the foul play spam can actually stop the Meganium. Meganium is just very bulky, and Shiftry's not. So I'm not sure if Frenzy Plant and Meganium bulk, while it's resisted versus Shiftry, I'm not sure if it's actually like too much for him to deal with. So yeah, I feel like Shiftry's advantaged in that. Shiftry is definitely bad against Heracross and Golbat. It sounds fine against Munchlax. It resists all the lick damage, which is about half of Munchlax's damage. And then Leaf Blade spam should shut down the Steelix pretty well, and Shiftry resists Earthquake and Crunch, so yeah. And then Shiftry is very good against Wormadam. So I think Shiftry's good against Wormadam, Meganium, Munchlax, Steelix. And then Heracross is good against Steelix, Munchlax, Meganium, and then Heracross kind of in the mirror. So, what I need is stuff to deal with Golbat. That's kind of my issue, is Golbat. Golbat is a huge problem. So, I'm not really sure what my opponent is actually going to want to bring into this matchup. I can see that's probably a pretty old Steelix, being a 1476 CP. That's probably created a long time ago. People don't want to recreate it because it's 75k on the move cost. That looks like a pretty low CP Golbat. Most people have Golbats that are higher CP than that. So again, I think that's kind of an older Golbat. The Wormadam looks newly created. Or it looks like it got created sort of like after PvP was kind of a thing. And of course it got released after PvP was a thing. But I think the Wormadam could have been a recent investment. A lot of people didn't make one. And this person I know it's a local remote, and so I kind of know them to be not necessarily on the casual side, but I don't think they just power up random shit just for battling. I don't think they have thousands and thousands and thousands of battles under his belt. So and just using all kinds of stuff. I have other friends though that just power shit up just to play with it, just to mess with it. But this Wormadam seems like this is one of the only tournaments where it really is important, and where it wasn't banned. So yeah, I think the Heracross and Shiftry look great. I'm just worried that the Golbat is going to be a problem. So Skuntank is interesting. Skuntank can actually do some decent work against Munchlax. I think it resists Lick. Seems good. Heracross is awkward. I think it's just too much neutral damage. And Skuntank does super effective damage back to Heracross, and they both have the same energy generation. Skuntank, though, has a 40 energy crunch, and Heracross has a 45 energy close combat. The awkward thing, though, is when they go to both their charge moves, I kind of was thinking about the math earlier before I recorded this, because I'm not going to look up the sims. I'm just not going to do that. It's against Sylph rules, technically, to look up sims against your opponents in remote matches. I know everybody kind of does it, but yeah, so I just thought out the math, and I realized that basically Skuntank and Heracross both reach 2 crunches at the same time that they get 2 close combats. So it's a CMP tie. And Heracross actually wins the CMP tie. So I have a previous video on the channel about overtapping and forcing an overtap I would actually have to do that in order to stop the Heracross from getting a second close combat if they were both against each other in the lead. So, so I think Skuntank. I think I know how to make Skuntank win that. I think I know how to beat Munchlax, and then Meganium has to land the Earthquake or die. So I'm not too worried about that. And then, yeah, and then Golbat is interesting. So Golbat, all of Golbat's moves are resisted, but Shadow Ball still hurts, and I'm pretty sure it would be a close match. I think I would have to shield the Shadow Ball. I don't think I can get away with like zero shield. Skuntank is just not tanky enough. And then against Wormadam, I can actually just flamethrower it, and it dies. So you just and you resist all the confusions. So single resist because you're double resist with dark, and then single weakness with poison. So they cancel out, and then it's just a single resist to confusion. So it's really good. So yeah, Skuntank is like really strong against Wormadam. So really, the only thing I'm worried about with Skuntank is Heracross, and potentially Golbat or maybe like Steelix or something. See, the thing is, I have a strong feeling that he's not going to bring a Steelix. I could be wrong, but Heracross looks good against his team. Shiftry looks good against his team. Even Bibarel kind of looks like it can do some stuff. So I think Steelix is kind of not going to happen. Which is great, because that means Skuntank is nuts. So I'm thinking of Skuntank as either being a safe switch or potentially as a lead, because I know how to win the lead against the Heracross. So basically I keep Skuntank in unless it's Steelix, literally. So I'm thinking about a Skuntank lead. Then, if I don't match against the Golbat, right? So let's say I match up against something else, then as long as I'm not fighting Steelix, I can win the lead. So I'm gonna do that, right? And then later, I'm gonna want to bring a Steelix because if there's a Golbat, then I put the Steelix on the Golbat. And then I still expect a Wormadam, and if my Skuntank isn't killing Wormadam in the lead, then I probably need a Wormadam answer, which could be Steelix, but then Steelix doesn't answer Golbat. So it's possible that I use Bibarel as my Golbat answer and Bibarel for my Wormadam answer as well. Bibarel tends to be a little bit of a generalist, but if Steelix can kill Golbat and bring in some energy left over, he can help my Bibarel finish off the Wormadam in the back, right? Or whatever. So I think that give or take, Bibarel can probably be the generalist that I need here. Because if I tried to use Steelix against Golbat, then my own Golbat can't fight Wormadam. Heracross can't really fight Wormadam. Shiftry can fight Wormadam, but Shiftry can't fight Golbat. So really, I'm worried about the Worm and the Golbat duo. Like, I'm worried that my Skuntank won't be able to help me with that, because my Skuntank's busy killing something in the lead, and I'm gonna need a second generalist to deal with that. So because my first generalist, my top tier generalist, Skuntank, is actually so strong against his team, I can't expect Skuntank to deal with two Pokemon. That's kind of like the problem Azumarill sometimes has in the Great League, is like, he can fight most Pokemon and beat them, but he can't, like, he has so many good matchups against so many Pokemon, but he's still only one Pokemon. Like, you can't actually have Azumarill, like, win, like, two fights. He wins, like, one fight or, like, 1.5 fights, usually. So, like, you need other stuff to be able to deal with the rest of what they have. So, yeah, so I think I want to do two generalists and a hard counter. Win switch advantage with my Skuntank. Put my hard counter on something. either Worm or Golbat, and then I think Beeburl carries me the rest of the way. I think that's probably likely. So, yep, that's the plan. Skunk, Beeburl, and Steelix. And then if there's an enemy Steelix, oh man, if there's an enemy Steelix lead, I really want to switch my own Steelix into that. I want to switch the mirror. Sorry. Um, I want to switch my own Steelix into that because I think he has some good answers in Meganium and Heracross, but I also think that the Steelix has a lot of nuke potential there. And then, yeah, geez, Skuntank, Steelix, Beaverl sounds like I'm going to get Heracrossed into infinity, to be honest. That's really my only worry. My only worry is if there's a Steelix lead, and also if there's a Heracross, basically ever. But again, I'm hoping my generalists can deal with it. I just think that I just think there's not going to be a Steelix against me at all, and I'm not kind of worried about that scenario. And then I think that the Heracross is actually really strong versus me. The problem is I don't know if he's favoring, like, is it going to be Heracross, Golbat, Wormadam? Because that's pretty strong, and it is really disruptive against me. Like, I'm gonna need to run Golbat to deal with those three, to deal with these three right here. And unfortunately, I I don't know how to get my Golbat away from the worm, right? Like I would have to lead Golbat and then swap into something like a Shiftry or a Steelix or something, and then come back with the Golbat to deal with it, and then eventually kill the worm with a hard counter. And Shiftry is kind of my hardest worm counter. And Skuntank is sort of... sorry about that. Skuntank is sort of... It's a good counter to Worm. It's just like, if Wormadam like farms me down, or ever gets a bunch of farm, then that becomes an extremely tough fight. Those Iron Heads do hurt, and Skuntank can't really get to the energy fast enough to like flamethrower it down. So, I don't know. I kind of just have to hope there's not a Heracross, or hope it's a Heracross lead. Or get some energy on one of these stupid Pokemon like Bibarel or Steelix or whatever, and like toss a bunch of charge moves at this stupid Heracross in order to get rid of him. So I think that it is possible there's going to be a Heracross. Um, the other thing I can do is consider that my own Heracross actually has better matchups against it than my Skuntank. I mean, Skuntank technically beats it, but my Heracross can actually beat it as well with the same... I'd use the same undertap thing as before. So it's really either one can beat the mirror. Um, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but at this point, I don't really know if my opponent is used to Heracross. So I think I'm just gonna go in and see if they are using Heracross. Then I can always put out Golbat, which I think does really well against everything but Worm, really, and like Steelix. And if my opponent brings Worm and Steelix, then oh boy, what's up? Shiftry's gonna have some fun with that, and Bibarel's gonna have some fun with that, and Steelix is gonna have some fun with that. Like there's a lot of problems with that line if they decide to bring that. So it's possible that I need to design something that Golbat actually gets to fight in. And then I think at that point I can use like a Bibarel as a safe switch. So I could do like Golbat in the lead, Bibarel as a safe switch. And then I'm assuming like Heracross, Golbat, Worm as my sort of worst case scenario. Worm in the lead, my Golbat loses against Worm, right? So these two. My Golbat loses against Worm. I switch Bibarel. He switches Heracross. I Hyperfang it or Surf it. He shields, has a ton of energy. I bring Golbat back out. I absorb the energy because Golbat resists everything Heracross has to offer. Then I farm it down. I eventually die to the worm. And then my Steelix comes in as my third, kills the worm and kills the Golbat. I've actually done that strat before against a very similar lineup. It wasn't a Heracross though, it was a Toxicroak, but it's the same thing. So I think I'm actually going to jump into my game and make a couple of preset teams here. I'm going to make team number, well, I guess I'll just randomly toss a thing in an egg, whatever. Okay, cool. And then let's go into the actual, I forgot that they moved the battle teams into here. And then we'll go make a couple of pre-mates. So preset number 1 actually already has Steelix as the lead. See, I wouldn't want Steelix as the lead. But I would want Steelix in the back because I don't want my opponent to know I have it. Because it would actually be answering the Wormadam and the Golbat, which is the strongest duo they have against me. So I want the Golbat in the front. I'm just going to pull up the team. Golbat in the front, Bibarel is the safe switch, Steelix in the back. Cool. And then the other one is going to be... I think we already talked about this. It was Skuntank, Bibarel, and Steelix, right? And the Steelix would always be trying to line up against the Golbat. It's possible that I can actually win out against... if I win the lead, then I can make sure that my Golbat always lines up with their Heracross, or my Golbat always lines up with their Golbat, and then my Bibarel can line up with the Wormadam. Seems okay. And so then I'm not as reliant on Steelix getting matched up with either of those in the back. I'm just pretty convinced that Golbat and Wormadam are going to fight me. Like, I'd be really confused if they don't. So, and Steelix has better matchups against both. So I think I am going to keep the original team idea. And then I'll make a dynamic team on the fly if I feel like I need to. But yeah, that was the analysis. And the next time you'll see me, it'll be the battle videos. So bye for now.
All right, and welcome back to the best lit area of my house. So, well, the area with the best lighting. So we are going to lock in with our first team, and we're going to go for it, see how it goes. Skuntank hopefully no Steelix in the lead, otherwise I'll panic and I won't know what to do. But I'll switch into our Steelix, that was our... Okay, cool. So this is the Heracross that we were thinking was going to probably likely lead. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a really quick close combat. Wow, okay, cool. All right, here's the crunch number 1, and then we should actually have a second crunch ready to go. I believe if we counted correctly here. Wow, hella sick switch. The Steelix! Oh no. Do we actually want to farm up against this Dragon Tail before we go ham with our Bibarel here? I think we do. So I believe our Skuntank actually needs one more. I think our Skuntank needs to do literally one more before it is one more fast attack before it has something ready. So it kind of depends on what we're fighting against, but we might be able to make it happen. We shouldn't need to fire off a charge move here. And then I think we might have 2 surfs. Okay, Munchlax. Wow, I did not predict any of this stuff. Okay, got it. Well, it should be fine then. We're kind of prepared for this sort of thing. Come on, let's get the second surf. There we go. Very good. All right, that is a tremendous amount of damage. So our Scun Tank might actually get hit by 2 licks and might die to that. So I think we want to toss the Steelix out. And then as soon as we see them switch... Ooh. This could be a Bulldoze, but I don't think so. Yeah, it felt like a Body Slam. I don't know if Bulldoze is too quick or not. I think we can just toss out a Crunch here. It might be the wrong play. It's probably the wrong play. I probably should farm up and then double charge move the dude in the back. The Heracross. But I think, honestly, this is probably another close combat, which is going to lower his defense by 2 stages, and I think 3 Dragon Tails ought to faint, to be honest. Or 2 Dragon Tails. Okay, cool. But we had enough time to do 3. Steelix doesn't die that fast to fighting moves. Bastiodon and Probopass do, because they're double weak, right? The Rock is weak and the Steel is weak to fighting. So in this case, we're just single weak. So we got it there. That was good. I think for some reason I'm thinking that Crunch is 40 energy, but I think it's 45. I think Foul Play is 40 energy, I believe. So that's why I was doing the math on Skuntank wrong. So I needed to do, basically, you get 7 per Poison Jab. So 7 times 7, 49. And then do that again, and you get like 91 energy. Or, no, 98. Yeah, 98 energy, which is enough to do 2 in a row. Something like that. My math is like kind of shit right now. I've been doing so many remote matches tonight. This is awful. So, yeah, my brain is just kind of melted. So, let's try and think. So, first of all, we actually saw a Steelix, which was not good. We were hoping to not see a Steelix at all. So, we might actually go ahead and use this team here, which should probably be able to handle stuff a little bit better. And then I think what we want to do is, if we're fighting against a Heracross... Okay, we're not. We're doing a Steelix mirror. So this is all about baits, guys. This is all about the baits. I think what I'm actually going to do is just go straight Earthquake. Okay, so he actually did another Dragon Tail, which is interesting. We hit the Earthquake! Okay, I can actually just shield this. Crunch, okay. And then as soon as our Crunch is ready... Oh, that's just another Crunch. That can't be an Earthquake. So we don't need to shield it then. Yep, we're just going to farm down with Dragon Tail at this point. We'll even take a 3rd Crunch, that's fine. We'll take a ton of energy on Steelix and a shield deficit and a switch advantage lead. So Heracross is a problem, but we have the Golbat in order to kind of help out with that. What worries me is that there might actually be a Wormadam. So I'm actually going to switch my own Heracross in. This close combat is going to hurt. It's going to be resisted, but I honestly don't... Yeah, it seems like it's going to really jack us up. Wow, that's a dead Munchlax right there. That is a dead boy. Alright, so... yeah, I thought Wormadam in the back might have been like our worst case scenario, or maybe Golbat in the back would be worst case scenario, but Munchlax, man. Okay, it sucks that we got our defense lowered. Ooh, yeah. We may have actually survived that if we didn't get... We basically acid sprayed ourselves. So we're okay throwing the Steelix in here again, and then we'll put the... We'll put the Golbat in. So let's just get the Earthquake out and get rid of this thing. Because I feel like we don't want to mess around with Crunch and it might not do enough damage. And then we have a Golbat to like very easily clean up the Heracross in the back. So yeah, I think that ultimately we want to trust our Golbat to kill the Heracross, and we don't want to mess around. Like, we didn't need to, like, barely kill the Munchlax and then, like, save the energy and, like, do some sort of finesse work where we needed, like, to get Steelix to do more damage to Heracross. Like, we didn't need Steelix to do anything there but kill Munchlax. So we just went straight up, no messing around, go straight for the Earthquake. And then as soon as he does, straight up switch into Golbat, and just, like, wing attack and throw a Shadow Ball if you need to and resist all the charge moves. So cool. So we got the 2 wins under our belt, which is good. This is our weighted cup. So the sort of pre-analysis, I think, paid off for us yet again. We're going to see if Ceramic Beans is indicating any sort of like GGs or anything, like they're not interested in Game 3. Looks like they are. Awesome. Cool. So, let's go evaluate the teams real quick. So we actually fought against Steelix, Munchlax, Heracross. And then the first team was Heracross, Munchlax, Steelix, right? Yeah, so I think overall both. I think it's not switching teams. And so our own Heracross team actually works better against that, so we're just going to keep using it. But I feel like if a Wormadam team actually comes out, then we're totally kind of boned. So that would be hilarious. Um, yeah, that would be hilarious. I think if he uses the same team, then a Heracross lead is actually great for us all around. So I'm actually going to go over to here and go to my team. I'm actually going to make one on the fly here real quick. So we'll want a Heracross lead. And then we'll want an answer to Wormadam. So Heracross lead is if he uses the same team, then Heracross lead is good against all 3. If he brings the Wormadam or the Golbat, then we want the Steelix. And then also, I think in general, the Munchlax or the if he brings Wormadam, then Munchlax is likely to be there. If he brings Golbat, I could still see the Steelix. And so we want a second answer to Golbat. We'll just use a generalist. All right, cool. Sounds good, because he doesn't really have a Bibarel hard counter. Yeah, this seems fine. We'll try it and see how it goes. Woo, big white screen. Error 6 occurred. I'll send again. IDK. It wasn't stuck for round 3. I was just taking forever. Sorry, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, I took a little bit too long, and then Pokemon Go was kind of like, I guess you forgot about it. So, just gonna quit the game, I guess. Pretty helpful. Pretty helpful if we go ahead and do that. So, yeah, we're really hoping to not see Golbat or Wormadam. As long as we don't see Golbat or Wormadam, we're okay here. And then we'll need to do 14 counters and then throw 2 close combats in a row. That's the magic number, by the way. 14 counters. So you just got to count them. Count the counters. Okay, so I'm actually going to play this a little differently. I'm going to toss the close combat immediately. Then swap in the Bibarel real quick to water gun it down. I'm going to take an Iron Head for this. I don't think this is a Bug Buzz. There wasn't enough energy farmed. Bibarel resists Iron Head, so no shields. We're going to take the Iron Head. We're going to get rid of this thing. And then we're going to hope to God that Steelix has a good matchup in the back, because that was one of Steelix's good matchups. Okay, we're going to Hyper Fang the crap out of this thing, because it hurts real bad and it forces a shield. Okay. So, Steelix is fucked against this thing. So we are going to need to ride Heracross to victory. We are going to shield this, and then his defense is going to be lowered by 2 stages, so he's basically acid spraying himself right here, and we actually might be able to KO. Oh god. So we're going to switch to our own Steelix, actually. This is probably a crunch. I don't think this is Earthquake. That just wasn't enough Dragon Trails to be Earthquake, so we don't need to shield. And then now our Heracross in the back has a close combat loaded. So that's okay. So right now, let me just mention something about this Steelix. We don't really care too much about this opposing Steelix that we have on our hands. We're gonna toss the Earthquake. If he doesn't shield, then his Heracross is really well defended. And then we need to toss 2 charge moves at the Heracross to kill it. Right now, I actually think I do need to shield. Okay, good plays from our opponent. Oh, that's just another crunch again, though. These aren't earthquakes. Like, I'm not scared of these things. They're not earthquakes. Okay, and then if Heracross ever comes in, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm gonna get the crunch out here, and then I can actually throw another crunch, I believe, at the Heracross in the back. And then that, I don't think is enough damage, but we can switch for the close combat and then go ahead and get that off as well. Even though we could have done Mega Horn, I just think close combat is a fun move. So we're going to get that out there, and GG's game 3. Cool. Oh, that was a fun set of matches, and I love that was like very unpredictable, and man, that was cool. Wormadam and Steelix. That was like a really cool adaptation to get from him. Like, also props for always bringing Heracross. Like, Heracross is like really good against my team. I think the Golbat would have been pretty threatening against a lot of my options. Even just bringing it 1 round and then never bringing it again, like, I'd still kind of be worried about it. But at some point, I kind of wrote Golbat off as like probably not a thing. So like, I often would bring things that were like kind of weak to Golbat. I never quite dipped into the Shiftry nonsense because it didn't really make sense to run Shiftry, but Golbat certainly threatens has a lot of general neutral matchups against like a lot of my team, and it stops the Heracross from kind of going crazy against his team. And so, but the Wormadam was good. I actually had, so the reason I stuck in with Golbat there in that 3rd round was because like, GG's. Thanks, bro. Heart. He's a good guy. And then, yeah, so the reason I stuck in with Heracross there against Wormadam is because I realized that my Heracross wasn't getting very low. And if it eventually needed to fight a Munchlax or a Steelix, like half HP is fine. That's enough health to do that. And it's going to be super effective the whole time. So I instead stuck in, tossed out the close combat. Either the Wormadam takes it and takes a tremendous amount of damage, or it shields it. Either way, I swap out then. And I swap into, I don't remember what I swapped to. A Bibarel, and yeah, I was just going to fight it with Bibarel. Just like take an Iron Head and, just kind of fight it and stuff. And then if he swaps in a Heracross to kill the Bibarel or Meganium or something, then, sucks for me. I'll probably get a shield and then, have to figure out my game plan from there. But, yeah, ultimately, though, I think I kept picking teams that were weak to his Heracross. And the one time I brought the Golbat, it really helped out. But, yeah, picking teams that are weak to Heracross was sketchy. But I think with my ability to win switch advantage, I could stick some hard counters on it, and I could make up the difference that normally Heracross is going to have against my team. So it was kind of it was a rocky bit of analysis, but I felt pretty confident that my teams could be okay, and that we had some options even versus kind of a worst case scenario like Heracross showing up. So yeah, overall, fun games all around. I had fun with the analysis and everything. I had fun with the battles, and I had fun trying to guess what was going to happen, and I had fun being very, very confused when like Wormadam and Golbat didn't show up at the start of game one, and I had to kind of like very quickly adjust. So like I had a plan for those, not a plan for the other things. So like I I figured plan for the worst, hope for the best, and then that was kind of what you can hope for. It's just sometimes you don't plan for the best, and then the best actually like kills you and you die, and then you're sad. So yeah, I was kind of hoping that wouldn't happen. I didn't really know what to prepare for in the event that there was like some weird coverage gaps, because it can always go like one way or the other, depending on what I bring and depending on what he brings. So yeah, cool games though. I loved it, and yeah, looks like I'm ready for the finals. So wish me luck. I'll catch you in another video. Bye.